Welcome to Whispers and Confessions. There might be a twist waiting, so please make sure to watch until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's begin right away.
Was it the fiery sunset spilling through our window, or that unsettled spark in Katrina's eyes that warned of a storm coming? The light cast a golden haze across the living room. Beyond the glass, the suburban neighborhood's manicured lawns sprawled out, autumn leaves swirling in the gentle breeze. I, Michael, and my wife Katrina sat across from each other at the dining table, our eyes locked in a quiet exchange. Katrina's deep brown eyes still held that magnetic draw, captivating me as they always had. Her gaze seemed to freeze time, pulling me closer, while her face, etched with age's lines, kept its soft elegance and a tender smile. Her silver-flecked hair shimmered. A faint smile lingered. Something felt off. Tonight, though, her eyes carried an unsettled spark I hadn't seen in ages, rattling something deep down. Over the many years we'd shared, we'd woven countless memories, but lately, our talks had dwindled, leaving a quiet void, as if the electric charge of our younger years had dimmed into routine, yearning for what we've lost. Now in our 60s, each other's presence was second nature, an unremarkable slice of daily life. Back when we were young, her look alone set my heart racing. Glancing at Katrina's weathered hands, I felt a stir at their familiar comfort. We had a weekly tradition of dining with Katrina's sister and her husband, our next-door neighbors. Every Sunday evening, we'd gather in Ellie's backyard for a barbecue, cracking open beers and filling the air with laughter, a ritual we all cherished. Ellie, a whirlwind who could turn any story into a belly laugh, lit up our dreariest days with energy. Her glossy blonde hair grazed her shoulders, and her piercing blue eyes sparkled with charm. Ellie thrived on new ideas, and even her playful banter often carried bold, genuine sparks. Ellie's husband, James, was the quiet type, but his blue eyes glowed with a gentle warmth. His rugged frame and calloused hands, shaped by years of hard farm labor, told stories of grit, yet his touch was always soft. Though he spoke little, there was profound depth to him. The time the four of us spent together shook up our humdrum days. Those nights were our anchor, but a crack was forming, ready to shatter it all. Then, Ellie threw us a wild curveball. Setting her wine glass down, her eyes gleamed as she leaned in. Come on, don't y'all want to try something totally out there, just once? What if we swap partners, just for one night? As her lips parted with the words, the room went still, like time just stopped dead. I blinked, caught off guard, while Katrina froze mid-sip, shock etched on her face. Ellie's gaze burned with an unusual intensity, almost a desperate urgency to push this forward. At first, I figured it was a joke, but her stone-cold serious look locked on us told me she wasn't kidding. Her voice was low, almost a whisper, but it wove a captivating spell. James started to mutter, "How could we even?" in a gruff tone, but Ellie cut him off with a bright, defiant laugh. Hey, don't you want to shake things up with something wild? We're all adults here. What's there to fear? The room fell deathly silent, the only sound the nervous tapping of fingers on glass. Her words hung heavy, daring us to cross a line we'd never even glimpsed before. My hand shook so hard I nearly dropped my drink. A wave of shock slammed into me, mixed with a foreign, itching curiosity. I tried to call it a prank, but a shadowy urge stirred deep, itching with forbidden hunger. Katrina's eyes widened as she held her breath, though the corners of her mouth twitched upward. James's hand trembled slightly around his glass, his brow creasing. Maybe a new thrill in our 60s isn't the worst idea, Katrina murmured, glancing at me. Her voice quivered just a bit, but I could hear the hunger for adventure in it. My pulse raced, dread and a taboo craving gnawing at my gut as I gripped the cool wine glass, heat rising in my chest. That night, we parted without deciding anything, but Ellie's wild idea clung to us, haunting all four of our minds. In bed, Katrina and I stared in silence, my thoughts spiraling over this dangerous edge. Days later, as we gathered again, a lingering, awkward silence over coffee dragged the idea back to the table. Katrina, clutching her wine glass, asked, "Ellie, were you for real about that the other night?" Her voice was laced with hesitation. Ellie nodded, a sly smile playing on her lips. "Absolutely. But I'm not pushing anyone. It's only if we're all on board." Her rock-solid confidence rattled us hard. James spoke in a low, steady tone. "I'll take good care of Katrina." His eyes were sincere, though a shadow of doubt flickered through them. Katrina's cheeks flushed as she dipped her head slightly. Seeing her blush sent a jarring wave of mixed feelings through me, envy and intrigue colliding as neighbors' stares loomed. In 40 years of marriage, I'd never strayed, yet at this stage of life, this outlandish proposal ignited a fierce desire deep within. I saw a quiet consent in Katrina's eyes, but guilt and eagerness twisted together. After a heavy silence, we all gave cautious nods, each of us feeling the weight of stepping onto a path with no turning back. I nodded slowly, my throat tight, catching Katrina's faint sigh, a mirror to my own unease. On the agreed night, edgy nerves hung heavy around us. After dinner, we cleared the table in silence, stealing glances at one another. The clatter of silverware against plates was the only sound piercing the awkward hush. Ellie broke it with a suggestion: "Let's split up into separate rooms to ease into this." I headed to the guest room with Ellie, while Katrina stayed in the living room with James. Down the dim hallway, my heart slammed against my ribs, each creak spiking my nerves. My pulse felt like it might explode, and my sweaty palms slipped on the doorknob. Ellie stepped into the room first, and I hesitated at the threshold, taking a shaky breath. My mind churned with guilt over Katrina and an off-limits buzz, picturing her with James as envy bit hard. I flashed back to the electric gaze we shared when we first met, but now it felt like I was handing that passion over to someone else. I paused at the door, breath shallow, knowing one step forward would change everything. Stepping in, I saw Ellie by the window. The old wooden bed in the guest room groaned under its own weight, and moonlight spilled through the curtains, bathing her skin in a silvery sheen. She turned to me, her voice soft. "You nervous, Michael?" Her tone was gentle, but her eyes sparkled with a teasing, mesmerizing charm, her voice low and velvety. Those blue eyes, icy and piercing like a winter dawn, sliced straight through me. Her slightly parted lips seemed to beckon me closer. Her blouse slipped just enough to bare a shoulder, highlighting her smooth skin, and her slow movements felt like pure seduction. Her scent hit me, a delicate floral wave. It intoxicated. I couldn't look away. I answered honestly, yeah, hearts pounding, never stepped over a line this big. My voice shook a little, but she caught it, smiling as she closed the distance between us. When Ellie rested her hand on my shoulder, a sudden rush of anxiety surged through me, despite our years of familiarity. Her touch was feather-light, and her fragrance drew me in like a magnet. Her skin was impossibly soft. She spoke with an easy familiarity. "Never thought we'd end up here, did you?" and flashed a grin. Her parted lips revealed a glimpse of white teeth, and that smile stole my breath. In her eyes, I saw a blend of long-standing trust and fresh, hungry curiosity. Meanwhile, the thought of Katrina in another room with James gnawed at me, tightening my chest, yet a wild mix of curiosity and raw excitement took over. Ellie took my hand, guiding me to the edge of the bed, and whispered, "Just relax, Michael. We both deserve to soak in this moment." As her fingers curled around my wrist, I was lost, ready to dive into the unknown. As Ellie's hand trailed down my arm, a hot jolt raced through me. Every brush of her fingertips sent electric shivers racing across my skin, her stare holding me captive. She stepped closer, her heated whisper teasing my neck, and without thinking, I pulled her into a tight embrace. Her body was soft, yielding, and warm, her skin smooth as silk, so damn enticing I couldn't let go. Her scent hit me like a wave, intoxicating me completely. Her fingers worked at my shirt buttons, popping them open one by one, her hands gliding over my chest with a slow, deliberate touch that made me ache. I surrendered to her, gripping her tighter, craving more. Her nails grazed my back, pulling me closer, and I dissolved into her embrace. But Katrina's laugh echoed in my head, a bitter sting amid the craving. Her kiss burned, fierce and hungry, claiming mine as her tongue teased, pulling me under. I tugged her blouse off, letting it fall, exposing her shoulders and the swell of her breasts. Her skin still had that firm, youthful glow, her chest rising and falling with each breath, tempting me beyond control. Seeing her nipples harden under my gaze, I swallowed hard, my hands pulling her closer with desperate need. Each low, throaty moan she let out stoked a spark, driving me wild. I cupped her breasts, kneading them gently, my thumbs brushing over her sensitive peaks, and she arched back, gasping softly, her sighs like fuel to my hunger. Her reactions sent my pulse skyrocketing, and I couldn't hold back, lowering my mouth to her neck, kissing and sucking along her collarbone, down to her chest, tasting the sweet salt of her skin. Her breathing turned ragged, each gasp sharper, as I devoured her with my lips. When she fumbled with my pants, yanking them down, her hands explored me, stroking with a bold, teasing grip that made my body shudder with raw want. I pushed her back onto the bed, her legs parting as I hovered over her, and when they wrapped around my waist, pulling me in, the heat of her body against mine was almost too much. Sliding into her, the tight, wet warmth gripped me hard, sending an explosive wave of pleasure through every nerve. In that instant, all guilt, all reason, melted away, leaving nothing but base desire to drive me. Our bodies moved together, finding a rhythm, her moans growing louder, desperate, vibrating in my ears, and as her body trembled beneath me, we hit that peak together. Picturing Katrina with James, a dread of fracturing our bond twisted with the rush, sharpening every pulse. I ran my hands over Ellie's sweat-slick skin, meeting her gaze, and her satisfied, sultry smile rocked me to my core. This forbidden ecstasy had me completely hooked. Time seemed to crawl. Being with Ellie felt like stealing back a piece of youth. Her laughter, the heat of her touch, the faint, lingering scent of her skin, they held me spellbound. Her damp hair stuck to her forehead, only adding to her wild, untamed allure. When I woke the next morning, Ellie was already up, standing by the window. Sunlight slipped through the curtains, warming the room, but the fiery passion of last night had cooled into a heavy quiet. She turned to me, her voice gentle, "Morning, Michael." Her smile brought back flashes of last night's heat, grounding the reality that it wasn't just a dream. Though the memories felt surreal, a fresh, hungry desire had burrowed deep inside me. I rolled out of bed, managing a shy grin. "Let's whip up some breakfast together," Ellie offered. Her tone was still gentle, but it had shifted to something more casual, a far cry from the raw intensity of hours before. In the kitchen, we ran into Katrina and James. The hum of the coffee machine was the only sound as we gripped our mugs, warily sizing each other up. I caught Katrina's hand trembling just a bit as she set her glass down. For a moment, I was tongue-tied, but Ellie lightened the mood with a playful jab. "So, everyone get any shut-eye? Hungry? Guess we all burned some calories last night, huh?" Her upbeat vibe made Katrina giggle softly, replying, "Yeah, I could eat." On the surface, we played it cool, but imagining her with James twisted envy in my chest with a nagging twitch, throwing me off. We sipped our coffee, pretending normal, but I couldn't shake the question, what now? After that night, our dynamic shifted in small, profound ways. A tighter bond took hold, seen and shared, wordless smirks over coffee, a nod to our hidden truth. Despite neighbors' icy glares like that tight-lipped, interesting setup at the block party, we held tight, ignoring rumors. My bond with Katrina also gained a fresh lens. 2 weeks later, when the four of us shared a meal again, the vibe was charged. Though no one said it outright, a quiet eagerness simmered in our glances. Ellie, with a soft but loaded smile, murmured, "Want to give it another shot?" Her voice was smooth, but it carried a draw that hooked us once more. Katrina flicked her eyes to me, and I read agreement in them. James gave a silent nod too. No one pushed back. The second round felt smoother than the first, though a sliver of guilt still lingered in the back of my mind. Each secret encounter reignited a quiet craving, though guilt over Katrina still lingered, weighing on me. Society would likely scorn us, but in our private circle of 4, we'd forged a strange, delicate balance of acceptance. At neighborhood barbecues, we grinned like any normal family, guarding our secret close. I wrestled endlessly between the buzz and regret this arrangement sparked, but the sheer intensity of that pleasure kept dragging me back. I wondered if this tied us tighter or just did cracks waiting to split. I often mulled over James and Katrina's connection. At first, jealousy ate at me, but seeing my wife's soft happiness slowly brought more peace than pain. I, too, was unearthing new layers of myself through my moments with Ellie. One evening, Katrina asked, "Michael, does it get to you, me and James?" Worry shadowed her eyes. I took her hand, answering straight. It threw me at first, but now, if you're happy, that's all I need. She smiled, relieved, and pulled me into a tight hug. I'm cool with it. Seeing you so fired up with life? That's what matters to me. Her gentleness wrapped around me, and I felt a steady comfort. Deep down, picturing her with James stirred a mixed rush of want and doubt, yet her words steadied me. One night, I asked, "Any regrets?" My voice betrayed a hint of nerves. She paused, then smiled gently as life's end looms. Opening this door ain't bad. It's like that first crazy road trip we took, young and fearless, all over again. I nodded, gripping her hand, sensing her contentment, and wanting to understand her deeper, even through the flickers of jealousy. Growing older, we've tossed out society's stuffy rules, embracing what feels right. In our youth, a setup like this was unthinkable, but now it feels natural. We each found something unique in this arrangement. One day, Ellie confided, "I've rediscovered who I am, Michael." Her eyes sparkled, brimming with a vitality that belied her 60s. Her radiant smile and lively spirit drew me in again. When she said, "Back in the day, I couldn't have pictured this in my 60s. But now? I'm damn proud of choosing this." Her bold tone struck a chord, and I nodded in sync. The world might not get our relationship, but for us, it's a choice built on respect. James and I grew tighter than ever. Our guy talks ramped up, swapping life's lessons. James and I bonded over late-night beers on his porch, swapping dumb dad jokes now. Those laughs felt like gold. Over a beer one day, he said, "Never saw this coming back when I was young." It's not half bad, huh, Michael? His voice was even, but his eyes held a shared understanding. I grinned. Nope, not bad at all. Feeling something fresh in life's last stretch? That's a win. Outside our exchange days, we were just regular brothers-in-law and family. We kept up the normal front, but those secret moments when we crossed the line added a thrilling, complex edge. As exchange days neared, a weird blend of jitters and excitement gripped me, and I saw the same restless energy in Katrina's gaze. The closer it got, the more I replayed those scorching moments with Ellie, my body heating up with expectation. Those days felt invincible, but a shadow I couldn't name loomed just out of sight. One day, before Katrina and James came back, I asked Ellie, "Why'd you pitch this whole thing?" My curiosity was real. She stared off, picking her words with care. "After so many years, there's love, sure. But sometimes you need a jolt." And she hesitated, going quiet. I held my breath, waiting. In a hushed tone, she added, "I knew James was sick. Didn't tell him, but the doctor clued me in. I wanted to give him happiness in whatever time he had left." Her words jarred me, my breath hitching sharp as her confession sank in. Her deep love shook me, stirring a tangle of emotions. Her voice trembled, the backyard breeze chilling me as her confession lingered. Seeing tears brim in her eyes, I gave her shoulder a light pat. "Don't tell Katrina," she pleaded, voice shaky. I nodded silently, vowing to keep her secret. Over the next few weeks, I carried that weight. Seeing James, I couldn't shake thoughts of his limited time. He acted clueless, living as usual, but I noticed the signs. James stumbled on short walks, his strength slipping with each day, wincing behind forced coughs. Watching him slip, a silent fear gripped me, heavier each day. One day, fishing just the two of us, James dropped, "Look, man, I'm not doing so hot." His tone was flat, but his eyes carried a weighted look. Playing surprised, I asked, "You see a dock?" Gazing at the lake, he nodded. "Ain't told Ellie, but the dock gave me the bad stuff." I listened, words sticking, as his words sank deep. "That's why this matters to me. Wanna make what's left count," he said. I clapped a hand on his shoulder. "I get it. We're buds." And more. James managed a weak smile, nodding. "Look out for Katrina. She's one of a kind." I answered firmly, "Always." "Ellie too." 2 weeks after, James's health tanked, landing him in the hospital. Tests confirmed a grave illness, with little time left. The news knocked us flat. Ellie broke down and Katrina held her close. I was speechless, but James, with a faint grin, said, "I've had a good run." His calm stare hit hard. I stood frozen, memories of his gruff laugh flashing, now drowned by sterile hospital beeps. In his hospital room, James called me over. "Need to talk, Michael," he rasped. Katrina and Ellie stepped out. From his bed, he said, "Take care of Katrina." The words held weight, not just family, but our unique tie. "Ellie too," he added, voice fading. I gripped his hand, putting all I felt into that grip. "This thing we've got, it might look weird to others, but it's gold to me," he went on. His eyes dimmed, yet sincerity shone through. "Bet you thought Ellie started it." "Nah, it was me after I found out I was sick." That floored me. Ellie had played it as her idea to honor his wish, their love's strength steadying me. James faded more every day. Ellie and Katrina took shifts caring for him. One day, he called Katrina and me in, sending Ellie out. "Got something for you too," he said. "Don't let Ellie be alone. After I'm gone, keep her as family. Last thing I'll ask." His voice was weak but urgent. Katrina, fighting tears, nodded. "Of course. Ellie's dear to us," she said, holding his hand. I added, "I promise," squeezing tight. Relief flashed in his eyes. "Didn't think this swap would end this way," he said with a bitter chuckle. When Ellie returned, she sensed something in our faces, but stayed quiet, sitting by him. That night, James passed peacefully. We were all there at the end. Ellie sobbed, and Katrina comforted her. In his final breath, Ellie clutched his frail hand, trying to hold it together but breaking down. By his bed, I saw our last fishing trip, his grin over a tangled line. Now, his stillness crushed me. The funeral was subdued. Ellie put on a brave face, her grit shining through even as she looked small. After, I sat alone on our porch, staring at his empty chair, wondering how to carry on without his quiet strength. Post-funeral, Ellie kept to herself. Even when we checked in, she put on a brave face. Her lonely house got to me each time we visited, until we offered a new home. One day, she showed up at our place. "Been thinking about what's next," she started. Katrina took her hand. "Move in with us." "It's what James wanted." Ellie looked stunned. "You knew," she whispered. I nodded. "His last wish. Didn't want you alone." Tears spilled, and Katrina hugged her gently. Seeing them, I knew James's hope lived on. Days later, Ellie moved in. Our trio's new chapter began. It felt weird at first. Ellie's odd habit of blasting oldies at breakfast clashed, but soon, it was just home. Among her things were James's mementos. "Want to display these," she said. We made a small shrine in the living room with his photo and keepsakes. Ellie's cooking spiced up our meals, and her laughter made Katrina feel like she had a real sister. We shopped at the local market, and evenings were spent chuckling over Netflix. My tie with Ellie shifted. The wild spark with Ellie had dimmed, but I found solace in our new rhythm, a quieter kind of closeness. We respected each other, offering support. We were 3 now, rebuilding, but could we really fill the void James left? I don't care a lick what folks think. Neighbors' cold looks mean nothing. Let them whisper. We've got our own rules, Katrina said fiercely. Ellie agreed. James would have wanted that. Some nights, Ellie joined us, chats fading into shared ease, defying all norms. We didn't care. Old ties matter, but our now felt more precious. Ellie's friends drifted too. They don't get it, she muttered. No regrets, though. Her resolve was clear. Our trio's life flowed calmly. We cherished each other, easing the hole James left behind. We'd talk to his photo at the shrine sometimes. His warm smile hurt to see, yet brought quiet tribute. His fishing hat nearby brought back lake days vividly. For Katrina's 70th, we threw a small bash with Ellie's dishes and my wine pick. Didn't expect a birthday like this, Katrina laughed, eyes bright. Ellie quipped, life's a wild ride. Bet this tops the cake. We clinked glasses, but I wondered, how long could this fragile piece hold? We traveled as 3, a resort trip a sweet escape, echoing our wild, early getaways just with a new crew. Poolside chats, spa relaxation, story swapping, we felt others' stares, but shrugged them off. Driving back, Katrina mused, living true to yourself feels freer now than in youth. Ellie chuckled, learning late ain't bad. Nights, I'd dream of James, his grin by our old lake, baiting a hook, as if daring me to join one last time. Waking, I felt he was near. Ellie had similar dreams. He's watching over us, she said. We took solace in that, exchanging looks. One morning, I found Ellie crying in the garden. What's up? I asked. It's James's birthday, she choked out, tears brimming. I sat, arm around her. That night, we set a small cake by his photo. Happy birthday, we said in unison. Each dream, each quiet ritual, kept James alive in our daily grind. Katrina once noted, this unique tie, built on roads we never saw coming, binds us. Her gentleness and depth shone. Ellie and I nodded, feeling it. Our tie wasn't just a swap, it grew from our deep 4-way bond. James remains our center. For my 75th, the women gifted a handmade album of our shared past. Let's stick together, they said. Aging, our bond's warmth held steady. From 4 to 3, we each play parts, balancing this link. James's favorite garden flowers bloom seasonally. We watch, remembering. His essence stays with us. When Ellie fell sick briefly, Katrina and I nursed her. Recovered, she teared up, I'm so lucky to have you. It reaffirmed our support's value. When Katrina's knee flared, Ellie's care showed how tightly we hold on to fleeting time. Outside, stairs linger, but we walk tall, 3 souls woven by loss, blooming like James's garden against all odds. As seasons turn, I wonder, what other secrets will this unconventional family unearth?